Have you ever found yourself drained, unable to tackle life's challenges with the resilience you know you're capable of? Imagine if you could navigate life's difficulties with ease, staying emotionally grounded no matter what comes your way. What if the secret to emotional strength wasn't about pushing yourself harder, but about mastering the power of your inner world? What if, instead of feeling overwhelmed by stress and setbacks, you could start each day with clarity, remain calm in tough situations, and find strength in silence and self-reflection? The Stoics understood that true emotional strength comes from within, not from avoiding hardship or seeking external validation. It's all about responding to life's challenges with wisdom and resilience. In today's episode, we're diving deep into 10 habits that will make you emotionally stronger, inspired by ancient Stoic philosophy. What if these simple yet powerful habits could transform your emotional landscape and empower you in every aspect of your life? Ready to start building emotional strength that serves you in every challenge? Let's explore these 10 Stoic-inspired habits together. Building emotional strength with Stoic wisdom. Have you ever felt emotionally drained, like the weight of life's challenges is simply too much to bear? It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of stress, setbacks, and self-doubt. We all face times when our emotional well-being seems clouded, and it feels like we can't navigate through the storm. But here's the thing: what if I told you that the secret to emotional strength isn't about pushing harder every time life gets tough? Instead, it's about mastering your inner world. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to think that emotional strength is something you build by constantly fighting harder, striving for more, and seeking validation from others. But that's not what true emotional strength looks like. True strength comes from within. It's about how you respond to life's challenges, the wisdom you apply in difficult moments, and the resilience you build through self-control and reflection. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who lived through hardship and turmoil, understood this better than anyone. They knew that strength doesn't come from avoiding pain, but from knowing how to endure and rise above it. Now, imagine starting your day with clarity, knowing exactly what you can control and how you'll handle whatever comes your way. Instead of being swept away by the storm of stress, what if you could remain grounded, confident, and calm no matter what life throws at you? These habits, rooted in Stoic philosophy, are designed to help you achieve just that. By incorporating them into your daily routine, you'll begin to transform your emotional landscape, becoming more self-aware, empowered, and steady in the face of adversity. So, are you ready to build emotional strength that will carry you through life's ups and downs? Let's explore these 10 habits that will help you become emotionally stronger, with Stoic wisdom guiding the way. Habit 1. Start your day by identifying what you can control. Every day begins with a flurry of thoughts, tasks to do, problems to solve, decisions to make. But here's a simple yet powerful question. How often do you stop to think about what you actually have control over? How many of those thoughts are spent worrying about things outside of your control, things that drain your energy and increase your stress levels? The first habit for building emotional strength is to identify what you can control at the start of each day. The Stoics were masters of understanding the difference between what is within our control and what isn't. They believed that true peace and strength come when we focus only on what we can influence and let go of the rest. This is why the Stoic principle of internal and external circles is so important. Life can be categorized into two groups: those things we control and those things we don't. For example, you can control how you respond to a difficult situation, but you cannot control how others act or the challenges life throws your way. When we spend our time and energy trying to control things outside our sphere, we are essentially wasting our emotional resources. The key to emotional strength is learning to redirect your energy toward what you can influence. In practical terms, when you wake up in the morning, take a moment to ask yourself, what do I have control over today? Make a mental list of things that are within your power: your attitude, your actions, your responses, and your decisions. This mental shift immediately empowers you. Instead of wasting time and energy on things beyond your control, you start focusing on what really matters: your own mindset and actions. For instance, if you're facing a busy workday, instead of stressing about meetings you can't control or how others will react to your proposals, focus on how you can prepare, maintain a positive mindset, and handle each situation with grace. If an obstacle arises, remind yourself that you control how you approach it. Whether you stay calm, find a solution, or let it derail your day, the power lies in your response. The beauty of focusing on what you can control is that it puts the power back in your hands. You stop feeling helpless or at the mercy of the world, and instead, you start taking ownership of your day. The more you practice this habit, the more it becomes second nature. Soon, you'll find that you're not only more resilient, but you're also more self-empowered, ready to face whatever challenges come your way. Then habit 2. Practice the inner pause before reacting to emotions. Have you ever said something in anger or frustration, only to immediately regret it? It's something we've all experienced. Caught in the heat of the moment, our emotions take over, and before we know it, we've reacted impulsively. That initial emotional surge, whether it's anger, sadness, or frustration, often leads us to make decisions or say things we wouldn't normally say. But what if you could take a step back before reacting and choose how to respond with more control and clarity? The second habit for building emotional strength is practicing the inner pause, a brief moment of stillness before reacting to your emotions. Instead of immediately letting anger, frustration, or sadness dictate your response, you give yourself the space to pause, reflect, and consciously choose your response. It's in this small, simple moment that your emotional strength grows. The Stoics believed deeply in the power of self-control. They understood that while we can't always control our emotions, we always have control over how we respond to them. Epictetus, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In other words, our emotional reactions aren't automatic. They are shaped by how we choose to interpret and respond to what happens around us. Here's how the inner pause works. When you feel that surge of emotion, whether it's anger, frustration, or even anxiety, train yourself to stop for a brief moment before reacting. This could be as simple as counting to 5, taking a deep breath, or even stepping away from the situation for a few seconds. The goal is to give your mind a chance to process the emotion before it takes over. The pause doesn't mean you suppress or ignore your emotions. Instead, it means you acknowledge them without allowing them to dictate your behavior. Let's say a colleague makes a comment that frustrates you. Instead of snapping back immediately, take a deep breath and give yourself a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, what am I truly feeling right now? What would a calm, thoughtful response look like? This practice helps you break the automatic cycle of reacting impulsively. It provides you with the space to choose a more measured and intentional response. Over time, this habit not only helps you avoid regrettable reactions, but it also builds emotional resilience. You become more capable of responding with clarity and wisdom even in the most emotionally charged situations. The beauty of the inner pause is that it can be applied to every emotional reaction, big or small. Whether it's frustration in a meeting, anger in a heated argument, or anxiety before an important event, taking that brief moment to pause allows you to regain control over your emotional state and direct it in a more productive way. Incorporating this habit into your life doesn't require dramatic changes. It's about consistently pausing, reflecting, and choosing your response. With practice, this habit becomes second nature, allowing you to navigate life's challenges with greater emotional intelligence and resilience. Building emotional resilience with self-honesty. As you continue to practice emotional control, you'll find that the more you work at it, the easier it becomes to handle life's challenges with grace and composure. This sense of emotional resilience isn't a skill you're born with, it's a skill you develop. And the more you practice, the more you will find that your responses to emotions become thoughtful and grounded. So, the next time you feel your emotions rising, take a deep breath and pause. That small moment of stillness will create a bridge between your feelings and your reaction. Then it will allow you to respond with confidence, thoughtfulness, and emotional strength. PC Hun. Habit 3. Be honest with yourself. Own your truth without shame. One of the greatest challenges we face on our emotional journey is being honest with ourselves. It's one thing to face the world with courage, but it's another to confront the parts of ourselves that we often prefer to avoid. Our past failures, rejections, and moments of emotional turmoil can make us question our worth, our actions, and the decisions we've made. In these moments, it can be tempting to hide behind denial or defensiveness, but the truth is, it is in our vulnerability that we can find our greatest strength. The third habit for building emotional strength is to be honest with yourself, to embrace your truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. The Stoics knew that facing our flaws, acknowledging our emotions, and accepting our imperfections were crucial steps in the pursuit of wisdom and emotional resilience. When we acknowledge the truth of who we are without shame or avoidance, we lay the foundation for true growth and self-awareness. When we are honest with ourselves, we stop hiding from our mistakes, flaws, and insecurities. We stop pretending that everything is perfect or that we've got it all together. Instead, we acknowledge our shortcomings, not as failures, but as opportunities to learn, improve, and grow. MCC Hun. Self-honesty is not about judgment or self-criticism, it's about acceptance. It's about recognizing our flaws and embracing them as part of our journey toward becoming the best version of ourselves. Think about the times when you've avoided facing uncomfortable truths about yourself. Maybe it was a toxic pattern in your relationships, a career path that wasn't right for you, or a habit that held you back. How did you feel when you finally faced that truth? Yes, it might have stung at first, but in that moment of honesty, you gained clarity, understanding, and the power to change. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." This powerful statement reminds us that true strength comes from knowing and accepting our authentic selves. It is only when we are honest with ourselves that we can truly begin to take responsibility for our actions, our choices, and our growth. We stop blaming external circumstances and start focusing on what we can control: our responses, our mindset, and our journey forward. Being honest with yourself means accepting both your flaws and your strengths. It's about seeing the full picture of who you are, embracing your truth without shame, and letting go of the need to hide, deny, or make excuses. Then, at first, this practice may feel vulnerable, but the freedom it brings is priceless. By being truthful with yourself, you'll unlock a deeper level of emotional strength and authenticity, one that empowers you to face any challenge with clarity and resilience. Taking action. Start by setting aside time for self-reflection each day. Then MCC Hun. Sit with your thoughts and ask yourself some challenging questions. Where am I holding myself back? What do I need to admit to myself in order to move forward? What do I need to change in my life to align with my true values? By making self-honesty a daily habit, you begin to peel away the layers of defensiveness and denial that cloud your vision. As you grow more comfortable with the truth, you'll begin to see yourself and the world more clearly. Habit 4. Reflect on daily events. Carry a mirror for your life. At the end of each day, how often do you pause and truly reflect on your actions, reactions, and emotions? Many of us rush through our days, pushing forward with little thought of stopping to examine the events that shape our lives. But here's the truth. The key to emotional strength lies in the ability to reflect on these daily events and learn from them. This habit, known as self-reflection, is one of the most effective ways to cultivate emotional awareness and growth. The fourth habit for emotional strength is to spend time each day reflecting on your wins and mistakes. The Stoics deeply believed in the power of self-awareness as a cornerstone for living a virtuous and intentional life. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often wrote about his actions and reactions to the events of his day. He used these reflections to better understand himself and where he could improve. By practicing reflection, we can step outside the hustle and bustle of daily life, taking a moment to observe ourselves with clarity and objectivity. Why is reflection so powerful? First, it helps us become more aware of our emotional responses. We often react to situations without thinking, driven by impulses or long-standing habits. But when we take the time to pause and reflect, we gain insight into why we acted the way we did. Did we respond with anger or fear? Or did we approach challenges with calm and reason? Reflection allows us to identify patterns in our behavior, helping us recognize areas for improvement while also reinforcing our strengths. For instance, think back to the last time you experienced a difficult or emotionally charged situation. How did you handle it? Did you respond thoughtfully, or did you react impulsively? Taking a few minutes at the end of each day to reflect on moments like these allows you to pinpoint what worked and what didn't. This isn't about self-criticism, rather, it's about understanding yourself better so you can make more intentional and aligned choices in the future. Let's take another example. Perhaps you had a disagreement with a colleague. Instead of simply moving on with lingering frustration, take a moment to reflect. Did you actively listen? Did you stay calm? Or did your emotions dictate your response? By reflecting on this interaction, you can gain valuable insights into how to improve your communication and emotional responses the next time a similar situation arises. Reflection doesn't have to be long or complicated. In fact, it can be as simple as taking 5 minutes before bed to mentally review your day. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? What could I have done differently? How did I handle my emotions? And what can I learn from this experience? This quick exercise allows you to course correct before your emotions spiral out of control, helping you approach tomorrow with more wisdom and emotional control. The Stoics didn't just use reflection to learn from their mistakes. They also used it to celebrate their progress. Reflection isn't only about recognizing where we fall short, it's also about acknowledging our growth and resilience. By looking at our actions through the lens of reflection, we give ourselves the opportunity to appreciate how far we've come, even in small moments. So, make self-reflection a regular habit. Spend just a few minutes each evening reflecting on your day. Use that time to learn from your experiences, celebrate your progress, and identify areas for growth. The more you practice this habit, the stronger your emotional awareness and resilience will become. It's through this simple yet powerful habit that you'll build the emotional clarity and wisdom needed to navigate life's challenges with strength and purpose. Habit 5. Practice daily gratitude. Appreciate what you have. Gratitude isn't just about being thankful for the good things that come into our lives. It's about acknowledging and appreciating the simple things, the things we often take for granted. It's about pausing, even for just a moment, to recognize the many blessings we already have, instead of focusing on what's missing or what we're still trying to achieve. This simple habit is incredibly powerful because it shifts our mindset from one of scarcity, always feeling like we need more, to one of abundance, recognizing that we already have so much to be thankful for. By practicing gratitude, we ground ourselves in the present moment. When we focus on what we already have instead of what we lack, we start to see how much we've already accomplished, how many blessings we possess, and how fortunate we are. This shift not only improves our emotional well-being but also allows us to appreciate the journey rather than just the destination. The Stoics, such as Seneca, understood the value of gratitude as a cornerstone of emotional strength. Seneca famously wrote, "A good character is not formed in a week or a month. It is created little by little, day by day." Gratitude is a part of this process. It's not about waiting for big, life-changing events to be thankful for. It's about appreciating the everyday moments, the small joys that can often go unnoticed. Gratitude teaches us to find peace in our present circumstances, regardless of how challenging they might seem. Imagine how different your day could be if you took just a few minutes to reflect on the things you're grateful for. It could be the people in your life, the opportunities you've had, or even the small moments of joy: a warm cup of coffee in the morning, a beautiful sunset, or a meaningful conversation with a friend. These things may seem small, but by simply acknowledging them, whether by writing them down or just appreciating them in your mind, you start to build emotional strength. This practice of gratitude doesn't have to be complicated. It's a simple, everyday habit that, when practiced consistently, can profoundly impact your emotional resilience. You'll begin to notice a shift in how you approach your day and how you handle challenges. Instead of focusing on what's wrong or what's missing, you begin to focus on the abundance in your life. However, gratitude isn't just a passive feeling, it's an active choice. Even when life isn't perfect, then Benmeo can choose to focus on what makes you feel content and thankful. You can choose to see the positive aspects of your life, even when facing adversity. Practicing gratitude trains your mind to focus on what's present, on the good, on the opportunities, rather than dwelling on what's absent or going wrong. This shift in focus is crucial for building a resilient emotional foundation. See Hun. When you choose to practice gratitude, you're actively choosing to shape your emotional landscape in a way that strengthens your ability to face adversity with calm, clarity, and strength. Over time, gratitude becomes a muscle you strengthen with consistent practice. The power of gratitude. Gratitude helps us maintain a clear, calm mind in the midst of life's chaos. It shifts our perspective from scarcity to abundance, reminding us of all that we have rather than focusing on what's missing. As you move through your day, it can be easy to become caught up in stress or frustration. But gratitude offers a steady anchor, helping you refocus on the positive aspects of your life, even in the face of challenges. Then start tomorrow by listing 3 things you're grateful for. It could be the warmth of a loved one, a small success at work, or even the simple pleasure of your morning coffee. By acknowledging the good things in your life, you'll set a positive tone for the rest of the day. When obstacles arise, remind yourself of those things that are already going well, and let that sense of gratitude help you stay grounded. MCC Hun. Gratitude is a daily practice, one that reframes your mindset, fosters emotional strength, and helps you remain centered no matter what comes your way. By making it a habit, you create a strong foundation of emotional resilience that can carry you through the most difficult of times. Habit 6. Learn the art of letting go. Embrace loss as part of life. Loss is inevitable. Whether it's the loss of a job, a relationship, a dream, or even a sense of certainty about the future, we all experience it in some form. Loss often brings with it a wave of emotions: sadness, anger, disappointment, and fear. In these moments, it's easy to feel as though the rug has been pulled out from under us, leaving us feeling lost and overwhelmed. But here's the truth: loss is not the end. It's a natural part of life, and learning to let go is one of the most powerful ways to build emotional resilience. The Stoics understood that everything in life is temporary, including the things we hold dear. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most profound Stoic thinkers, famously wrote, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." In other words, life is constantly in flux. People, possessions, and opportunities all are subject to change. Loss is inevitable, but it is not something that defines or breaks us. Instead, it's part of the ongoing flow of life. The sixth habit for emotional strength is to learn the art of letting go. It's not about rejecting what you've lost or pretending it doesn't matter. NMCC Hun. Letting go means acknowledging that loss is inevitable and embracing it with grace and understanding. When you try to hold on to what is no longer serving you, whether that's a past relationship, a failed career, or old beliefs, you are only hindering your emotional growth. Letting go frees you from the burden of the past and creates space for new opportunities, growth, and peace. Think about the things in your life that you've been holding on to. Are there situations, people, or even beliefs you're clinging to, despite them no longer serving your well-being? We often hold on because we fear the unknown or the pain of facing what we've lost. But in reality, it is only through letting go that we create the space for something better to enter our lives. It's like clearing away clutter from a room. By making space, you open the door for something new and meaningful to take its place. The act of letting go can be incredibly liberating. It frees you from the emotional weight of clinging to what was. Letting go allows you to step into a future that is no longer defined by the past, and it helps you embrace change as an opportunity for growth. How often do we hold onto the past, allowing old wounds, regrets, or disappointments to weigh us down? Whether it's letting go of resentment after a difficult breakup, releasing expectations after a job rejection, or accepting that we cannot change what has already happened, learning to let go is one of the most powerful ways to free ourselves emotionally. Letting go is not about forgetting or pretending that the past didn't affect us. It's about embracing the present and releasing the emotional grip of things that no longer serve us. It's recognizing that life will continue to unfold, often in ways we can't predict or control. In practical terms, learning to let go can be as simple as acknowledging that we can't control everything. It's about accepting that sometimes it's okay to release the need to fix or hold on to things. Think about it. Every time we choose to let go of resentment or unrealistic expectations, we become freer. We free ourselves from the emotional weight of the past, and by doing so, we create emotional space for peace and growth. For instance, after a job rejection, it can be tempting to hold on to disappointment, but letting go means releasing the belief that this rejection defines our future. By choosing to accept what happened, we allow ourselves to move forward and trust that new opportunities will come in time. Letting go also means releasing the need for external validation. How often do we tie our self-worth to relationships, approval from others, or past successes? The Stoics remind us that true emotional strength comes when we stop relying on external validation. Our worth is inherent in who we are, not in what others think of us or the achievements we've accumulated. By letting go of the need for validation, we find true freedom and self-empowerment. Marcus Aurelius taught us that by letting go, we create space for peace, growth, and new possibilities. Loss doesn't have to break us, it can shape us into stronger, more resilient individuals. So, practice letting go not as a defeat, but as an acceptance of life's natural flow. Trust that by releasing what no longer serves you, you make room for something greater to enter your life. Habit 7. Set clear priorities. Know what truly matters. How often do we find ourselves caught up in the demands of others, rushing through the day, only to realize we spent the majority of our time on things that don't bring us closer to our goals? In a world filled with distractions, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. But emotional strength comes from the ability to identify what truly matters and prioritize it, no matter the distractions or external pressures that arise. The seventh habit for emotional strength is setting clear priorities. It's about knowing what you value most and focusing your energy on what aligns with those values. The Stoics were masters at staying focused on what was most important, They didn't get lost in the noise of external distractions. Marcus Aurelius, in particular, reflected often on the need to prioritize the right actions. He said, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it." This powerful insight reminds us that we always have a choice how we react, what we prioritize, and how we spend our time directly impacts how we experience life. Setting clear priorities means taking a step back and asking yourself, what truly matters to me? Where do I want to focus my energy? What actions and goals align with my values? By focusing on the things that matter most, we can better navigate the distractions that arise, from external pressures to internal doubts, and make conscious decisions that lead to emotional growth and fulfillment. Then, when we set clear priorities, we stop letting the external world dictate our emotional state. Instead, we focus on what is within our control, our responses, our actions, and our growth. This gives us the emotional strength to move forward with purpose, knowing that our energy is aligned with our highest values. MCC Hun. In the rush of daily life, it's all too easy to feel overwhelmed by endless tasks, emails, meetings, and responsibilities that demand our attention. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what is truly worth my time? What will I never regret giving my energy to? These questions are key to setting clear priorities, a habit that empowers you to cut through the noise and focus on what truly matters. In the chaos of life, we often get caught up in the urgent, responding to every task that demands immediate attention. We end up expending our energy on things that don't align with our values or long-term goals. And when we prioritize the wrong things, we feel drained, stressed, and disconnected from our deeper purpose. But when you make a conscious decision to focus on what matters, everything changes. Then you become more purposeful with your time and energy. You start saying no to things that don't align with your values and yes to the things that push you forward. By focusing on what truly matters, you create a sense of calm and clarity. You let go of insignificant tasks that only add stress without contributing real value to your life. Instead, you pour your energy into things that will make a difference, helping you progress and grow toward the life you truly want. MCC Hun. Then the Stoics understood that true wisdom comes from focusing on the few things that are truly important and letting go of the rest. Marcus Aurelius himself wrote that life is about focusing on what you can control, and the Stoics emphasized that prioritizing your time and energy creates space for clarity and success. So take a moment today to define your top priorities. What will bring you the most fulfillment and success? But MCC Hun. What will you never regret giving your time to? By setting clear priorities, you take control of your time, energy, and emotional strength, aligning your actions with your deepest values and building the life you truly desire. Habit 8. Practice mental detachment. Be present without getting overwhelmed. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded by information, opinions, and demands. Whether it's the latest news, social pressures, or personal challenges, it can feel like everything requires our attention and all at once. But here's the truth. Emotional strength doesn't come from reacting to everything happening around us. Instead, it comes from practicing mental detachment, the ability to remain present and grounded without getting emotionally consumed by every external circumstance. Mental detachment is not about shutting yourself off from the world or ignoring your emotions. It's about creating a healthy distance from external events so that they don't dictate your emotional state. It's the ability to experience life fully without being overwhelmed by it. Think about a time when you were criticized, judged, or faced negativity. How did you react? Did you allow those external opinions to define your self-worth or disrupt your sense of peace? When we get emotionally involved in every situation, we lose our ability to stay centered and clear-headed. Mental detachment helps you step back and process situations from a more objective perspective, allowing you to avoid being swept away by negative emotions. It's like standing on the edge of a storm and choosing not to let the wind and rain overwhelm you. Instead of being tossed around by every gust of negativity, you remain grounded, able to face life's challenges with clarity and composure. This habit of mental detachment doesn't mean you stop caring about the world around you. It means you choose how much emotional energy you invest in it. By practicing mental detachment, you regain control over your emotional state. Then you create space between you and the chaos, allowing yourself to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. It's about being fully present without letting the world take over your emotional peace. The art of mental detachment and setting daily purpose. As we delve deeper into emotional strength, two practices stand out for their power to help us maintain clarity and resilience. Mental detachment and setting a daily purpose in MCC Hun. These habits not only protect our emotional peace but also empower us to respond to life's challenges with wisdom and intention. Let's explore how these practices can transform the way we approach each day. Habit 9. Practice mental detachment. Be present without being overwhelmed. In a world overflowing with information, opinions, and demands, it's easy to feel emotionally swept away by everything happening around us. The Stoics, however, were masters of mental detachment, understanding that while we can't control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, taught us that our emotional response is where our true power lies. He famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Mental detachment is not about avoiding life's challenges or shutting ourselves off from emotions. Instead, it's about creating a space between external events and our emotional responses. It's the ability to experience emotions without being consumed by them, responding with clarity, wisdom, and calm rather than reacting impulsively. To practice mental detachment, start by recognizing what's within your control and what isn't. You can't control other people's actions, their opinions, or the outcome of every situation. However, you can control how you interpret and respond to those situations. The key is to detach from the need to control everything around you. This not only reduces stress but also frees you from unnecessary emotional turmoil. For instance, if someone criticizes you or imposes their expectations on you, mental detachment allows you to acknowledge the feedback without allowing it to define your self-worth. You can choose to listen, learn from it if necessary, and then let go of any emotional reaction that doesn't serve your well-being. By doing this, you maintain control over your actions, your mindset, and your emotions, while letting go of the need to control others or external events. Mental detachment also means remaining present in the moment without letting distractions or negative influences pull you away from your true purpose. It's about engaging with the world around you without becoming overly attached to outcomes, opinions, or emotions that are beyond your control. This allows you to engage deeply with others and your environment while maintaining emotional resilience. So how can you start practicing mental detachment today? Begin by acknowledging that not everything requires your emotional reaction. Take a moment to pause before reacting to criticism, disappointment, or stress. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. By creating mental space, you'll find that you can handle life's challenges with calm, resilience, and emotional strength. Habit 10. Set a daily purpose. What's your why for today? Each new day is a gift, yet how often do we wake up and simply go through the motions? We let the day unfold without purpose, letting external factors dictate how we spend our time. But this passive approach often leaves us feeling drained and unfulfilled. To build emotional strength, we need to infuse our days with intention. The 10th habit for emotional strength is setting a daily purpose. This is about identifying one specific goal or intention that will guide your day and give it meaning. It's not about overloading yourself with a list of tasks, but about focusing on what will bring you fulfillment by the end of the day. What do you want to achieve today? What will make you feel proud of how you spent your time? Setting a daily purpose helps you wake up with clarity and energy, knowing exactly what to focus on. When we don't set a purpose, it's easy to get caught up in mundane tasks, responding to emails, attending meetings, running errands. At the end of the day, we often feel like we haven't made any progress toward what really matters. But when you set a daily purpose, you actively choose where to focus your energy. Each day becomes a step toward something bigger, a step toward your long-term goals. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, believed deeply in living with intention. In his meditations, Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily of his purpose, the values he wanted to uphold, and how he wanted to show up in the world. By setting a purposeful intention, you make each day count. Purpose acts as a compass, guiding you toward what truly matters and ensuring that you spend your time on what aligns with your core values. Setting a daily purpose, a roadmap for emotional strength. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Setting a daily purpose ensures that your thoughts and actions are aligned with your deeper values and goals. It gives you the focus and clarity you need to navigate the challenges of the day, no matter how big or small. When you set a purpose for your day, you give yourself something to strive for. It could be a simple goal like completing a task, practicing self-care, or even helping someone else. By the end of the day, when you check that goal off your list, you'll feel a sense of pride and fulfillment. That feeling is emotional resilience in action. It reinforces the habit of taking action and making progress, step by step. And remember, your purpose doesn't need to be monumental. It could be something as simple as, today, I will take care of my body, or I will learn something new, or even I will support a friend in need. Whatever your purpose is, make it meaningful to you and aligned with your long-term goals. By infusing your day with a sense of direction, you create a life filled with purpose, satisfaction, and emotional strength, not just completing tasks for the sake of it, but living intentionally. So, tomorrow morning, take a moment to reflect. What do you want to focus on? What will make today meaningful to you? Setting a daily purpose is a small but powerful practice that will help transform your mindset, increase your productivity, and empower you to approach each day with intention and emotional strength. Reflection and moving forward, building the strongest version of you. As we conclude today's episode, let's reflect on the key habits we've discussed for building emotional strength. True strength comes not from avoiding discomfort but from embracing it with the right mindset. The 10 habits we've explored, from recognizing what's within your control, to practicing mental detachment, to setting a daily purpose, aren't just ways to navigate life's challenges. They are powerful tools to build a resilient, empowered emotional foundation. When we practice these habits, we reclaim control over our emotional world. We stop reacting impulsively and start responding with clarity, focus, and strength. These habits help us face rejection, adversity, and the inevitable ups and downs of life with grace and wisdom. The Stoics taught us that emotional strength doesn't come from avoiding discomfort or seeking external validation, but from how we handle life's challenges. They understood that true power lies in how we manage our internal world. By setting clear priorities, practicing gratitude, letting go of what we can't control, and consistently setting our own purpose, we move closer to becoming the strongest versions of ourselves. A call to action. I challenge you today: pick one of these 10 habits and commit to practicing it this week. Whether it's taking that inner pause before reacting, setting a daily purpose, or practicing mental detachment, remember that small changes today will build the emotional strength you need for tomorrow. It's the consistent effort, day by day, that will lead to the transformation you're seeking. Thank you for joining me today. If you found this episode valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Together, we can continue to learn, grow, and become emotionally stronger every day. Let's keep building resilience, one habit at a time.